Thank you so much, Ramya. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Um, just want to ensure that my voice is audible to everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, I think it's a nice idea, which also Karthik shared, that we will try to keep our microphones on mute, and uh, when you have a question, and then you can turn on your microphone, and most probably you can ask a question or get a clarification, or also give your inputs. That's more important. um, uh, Google Classroom is a tool. In fact, um, uh, it it is not the entire solution that we need right now in this, in the especially in these circumstances. I mean, we have been using it very regularly. I started using this right when it was launched, somewhere in released in 2014, and I could see a lot of development from Google that happened very quickly, because a lot of educator community wanted to experiment with this idea of Google Classroom, this idea of having a virtual classroom. Um, so thankfully, Google Classroom is here, and other tools are also here for us during this times when unfortunately, I mean, as a teacher, I not very happy with students not having a proper closure. Um, uh, we miss understanding their achievements and appreciating their achievements. But I think Google Classroom is going to help us out there, and other tools are also going to get these children involved and engaged into something called a proper closure. Apart from that, Google Classroom is a great place, and more than a disaster management tool. Right now, it is a great learning tool. I have learned the value of the variety of feedback that you can collect and archive, um, and it gives you a very solid chance to create students' portfolios that can be presented uh, and shared with the entire community, that is the students and the teachers and the parents. So let's begin. So I would like to keep my questions short, and answers shorter than that. So uh, how many of you already use Google Classroom? If you can just type Y in your chat box, so that gives me an idea about if I'm talking to an audience who are mostly experienced, or this is entirely new, and I would like to know for whom it is entirely new, and that way I would be able to balance a lot of things. So I'll have a quick look at the chat. That most of the teachers say yes, so you are, and some of them saying no. So some of them also confessing this is entirely new. Welcome. Uh, we are going to have a great experience. Okay. Okay, so I think we have a mix of um educators uh, who use it, and some of them who are entirely new to it. So it's a great mix, and I think I can straight away begin with what is required to deploy assignments or tasks or learning engagements in Google Classroom. So you need a Gmail ID. This is more this becomes more structured and more formal if you have your own um, Google for Education domain. If you would like to know about it, you can send a message, and I would like to tell you about it in detail in a different window, not this time, because Google for Education is a service freely available for educational institutions and academies around the world, and you can set up your own domain and you can create unlimited accounts, and you can be seamlessly connected to all the community, the education community, the parents, the teachers, the students, everybody. So here it is easier to, in a Google domain, it is easier to track and manage performances, uh, and also share resources. Let me assume that we all have, or we will work mostly with independent accounts. That is, you have your own personal Gmail accounts, and now even you have personal Gmail account, you can still create Google Classroom. So I would like to share my screen, and you can just follow it. So this is my email, and from here, from this app launcher, I can go and select the Google Classroom. So Google Classroom, when I click here Google Classroom opens up. This is one of the apps that you can use from Google. So now, individually, you can create your own classroom. Like, for example, consider you have teacher A, B, and C. So teacher A can host her own classroom, teacher B can host his own classroom, but I wanted to see all the work. I mean, being in charge of the curriculum development, so I wanted to see all the work at one place, so I hosted all the classes, and these classes can be independently hosted through your own accounts. So you can always create a class. You can create a class. You can give any name to your class. You can name it grade wise, or you can name it project wise, whichever way you would like to organize. So you can create, and these are the classrooms I have. So once I create a classroom, I would like to add people to it. So I will go to people, and I would like to add my collaborators. I mean, if you want other teachers also to share resources, tasks, and assignments, you can add them here. You can this people section will actually show you two tabs. You have teachers and students. So in teachers, you can click open here. You can give any Gmail ID. I mean, it has to be a Gmail ID. So you can give a Gmail ID, and say, when you invite the teacher, they will receive an invitation, and they will be landing on a page from where they can accept the invitation and join the class. And here is the student section. So you can invite students from here. They also need to have Gmail accounts, and therefore because we have this uh, Google domain, and all children are having our own domain IDs, so that makes it easier for us to add all these children. But you can individually ask, and also this feature is very interesting, where you can also invite guardians. You can click here, type the name of the parent, and they can also be party to the activity here. So
Mr. Mustafa Zaid, just one interruption. Somebody is asking if you are sharing your screen, which of course you are, but I just wanted to check if most people are able to see it.
Okay. Is there
So
anybody who is not able to see the screen?
Wasima Sultana says she can't see. Okay, but most others are able to see. So, Ms. Wasima, you may have to just check it at your end. Okay. Sorry, please carry on. I just wanted to check that people are able to see. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So one thing which I personally feel when I'm using, these technologies is, um, uh, you can fully exploit all the features of these technologies when you're using it on a desktop or a laptop, and the mobile versions of, the mobile apps of these technologies, uh, 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 I don't know. My experience says that they are not very effective. So most probably laptops or desktops would be the web version of this software that we are using right now, and that I'm using right now to host this session, which Karthik is hosting right now. So my own experience says the web version uh, is very nice, very suitable, very friendly, in fact. So okay, going back to Google Classroom, we have now we added the teachers, we added the students, and we can get to work now. And on any given classroom page, you can see the classes here. On any given classroom page, you can see you have this code, so you can also share this code. You can just copy this code and share it with your students through email, and they will be directly landing on the classroom page. So that's how you join students. You can either invite them from people section, or you can also create a class and just a minute. Yeah. Or you can, from this header, you can select that this area. If you're able to see, there's you can clearly see your code, and this code helps your students to connect to the Google Classroom. So once teachers are in place, you need to add teachers only if you require them as your team. Otherwise, you yourself can host the Google Classroom independently. But you need to add audience, you need to add students. So you add students either here or through the code. And once that is done, you have these 4 sections on your home page. And stream is something, it's like a feed that continuously gets updated whenever there is activity on the Google Classroom, on your classroom. Then we have Classwork. This is where you can actually create tasks or assignments or learning materials. So if I would like you to watch this very you know attentively, because this is important. This is the important part. So what can you create on this? You can create assignments that you can mark and return to the students. You can create quiz assignments which are automatically graded by the Google Forms. So once you create a quiz assignment, your assignment is now attached to a Google form where you are actually asking questions. It could be a quiz, it could be a small test, but it has to have uh, the idea of assessing something. Most probably, we also use Google Forms for surveys. We would like to know what other people think, and we can use Google Forms for that. Uh, so that's not an assessment. So if you're using it for a quiz, that means you are asking questions and you are giving points. And when you're doing that, the form automatically grades the submission, and those grades are imported here. A question is a quick question that you can ask to the entire class, and you can get responses, and based on the responses you can take an action. If you are hosting some reference materials, videos, or documents, websites, anything that can be shared as a resource. You can click here on the material and share with them. So this will not be used for grading. For grading, we'll only use assessment and quiz assessment. These are also the features that are reported when we see marks here. Then if you have already, or somebody else in your team has created a post, you can reuse the post, and that way. And you can also use topic to categorize or to organize your display on the Google Classroom page. So these are the basics of how to create assignments. Now, when Ramya insisted on me talking about the engagement part, because you don't have the class physically present, and these students are now available in a virtual environment. The engagement and the authenticity of engagement is really important. So, I mean, all educators must definitely have some idea about what authentic assessments are, and these authentic assessments can give you accurate feedback on whatever you want to assess. Primarily, you would like to assess the knowledge part, the skills part, and the attitudes. So now you will have to decide as an educator what would you really like to assess. So if it's just knowledge and concepts, you can create a Google form. Would you want me to create a small example for you? Create something here and show, or would you like to try it on your own? So you can say yes if you want me to create an example here. Okay, I'm getting the responses. Yes, people want to see how it is created. So what I would do is I will create a quiz assignment here. So I'm creating a quiz assignment. So quiz assignment gives me a pre-attached blank Google form, and this is the first assignment. There is this little limitation. I mean, these technologies do have limitations. The limitation is if you attach anything else here, let's say you want to add a video. So I would like to show you. You can see that there's a Google form pre-attached here, and then you can see this grade importing feature is automatically enabled. You can disable it also if you don't want to import the grade from Google form to your classroom. But that's the purpose you are using Google form here right now, to import the grades. To import the grades, I'll tell you in more simpler words. Now, when you assign this, a child will be able to answer your questions in Google form. The Google form will evaluate the answers, get the score, and this Google Classroom assignment will be able to import the test data into the Google Classroom. So that is why you are importing this. And now, but if you add something else here, like for example, if you want to add, let's say, a YouTube video, or maybe you can search. So I'm attaching a video here. So when I attach something here, especially in quiz assignment, you can see my grade importing option is disabled. Now my Google Classroom will not be able to import grades from Google Form. So if you want to do this, you have to take only assignment and not quiz assignment. So I'll just remove this, and I'm going to open this form. It opens in Google Forms. And I would like to this is the heading of the form, and this is also the name of the form is same, so that I can easily identify that this form belongs to my Google Classroom. So or I'll take a more mature question. So just a sample question. Google Form again is a very beautiful technology. It's a wonderful tool that you can deploy in different ways to collect feedback from your audiences in variety of ways. Please explore all the options of Google Form. It's a wonderful tool to collect amazing responses in variety of ways. So I'm using multiple choice questions here, and I'm going to also tell Google Form that this is the correct answer, and I would like to give 1 point to the correct answer. And you can also add feedback. I mean, the standard way of providing feedback. You can add the answer feedbacks also. Why is it correct or why is it wrong? So you can do that. And you can make it required if you want to enforce that all questions have to be answered. You can, for more validity of the test, shuffle the option order so that every user gets a different arrangement of options. So once you do this, and now more or less my Google Form is ready. So I'll close this, I'll come back here, and I'm going to assign this to you can assign to your different classes, or you can assign to a single student. So I am just using my daughter's account for that purpose. So for class 6A, I'm going to okay, I created it in 6A. Let me assign here. So here I can assign to many classes, as many classes. I would just give me a moment. I would just go back and do the right thing. My daughter is in class 6A, so I would be able to, yeah. I'm going to the class. I'm going to Classwork, create a quiz assignment. I'm going to create a quiz assignment. In the form. If I'm lucky, I can reuse the same question. I would, instead of typing new questions, I can use existing forms and I can use questions. Yeah, I have this form that I already created, so I'm going to import some questions. Yeah, select all. I'm importing these questions here. In the previous form, I created questions, and in this form, I'm importing questions from the previously created form. So I'll just leave it blank. So I'm done here. So once I created this question, and make sure that you have provided Google Form with correct answers and the points, without which it won't be able to grade. And now I'm going to assign the topic. If you want to organize your assignments subject-wise or project-wise, whichever way you would like to organize your classroom. And here I can assign this to all students at one go, or I can select. I'll select my daughter here because I have access to her account, which she kindly agreed to give. And here I go. Here I assign. So I have assigned a task which requires a student to open a form and answer a quiz. So I'm going to shift to her account. So this is her account, and here she opens her Google Classroom and she goes to Classwork, and she can see that I have assigned. This is the student's view. Earlier we were looking from the teacher's view. Now this is student's view. So she'll be able to click on this. She can see that this is assigned. I can also give a due date, which I didn't give it here. And I'll open now this is the student that's doing it. So she opens the quiz and she answers the question. She submits it. She can view score here itself, but she will be able to receive okay. Now you can see as she answered, she has handed in. Now your work has been handed in. Now if you want to do it again, the student has a choice to unsubmit and revalidate the work and submit it. That's a great facility. She can also ask questions to me. I would be able to receive her comments, and she can also comment on the class section here. Now, we usually don't pay attention to comments, but comments are a great place where you can collect quality feedback. What I prefer is, instead of just asking students to comment, I ask them to comment using certain structure. For example, comment using and give them sentence starters like, I like this, but I wonder why this is like that. So some structure for commenting can generate a lot of quality feedback. It's a great place to engage kids. It's not a quantitative approach to assessment, it's a qualitative approach to assessment. So she has done this, and let me go back to my view now, and I would like to go to my assignment and see what has happened here. Okay, when I open my assignment, I can see one has handed in. So handed in is an American phrase. We don't use it in India. We say submitted or not. So handed in is submitted, and I can click here. And I can see that, yeah, I can see that she has submitted here. And now comes another important part, to import the grades. So now what I would like to just a second, where do I import the grades? There is supposed to be an import grade button here. I don't know why it is not coming there. Okay, so I will not waste your time chasing something that is not there. I would like to edit and see if something. Okay, so my grade importing is turned off here. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on, right, and save my assignment. and then most probably the grade inputting should be available there. Yes. So you can see that yes. Let me just finish this and I'll take some questions. There are a couple of questions here. I'll take those questions once I just finish this cycle. So here you can see I can see who has handed in, and if other students are also assigned, you can see the two sections here. You can see handed in section and assigned section. So handed in are the people who have submitted their work, and the assigned ones are still those who are pending their work. So you can see this is a default value 100 points, whereas my quiz was for only 1 point. Okay, so I'm going to import grade. It has, I'm sure, I mean, you want to surely import the grades. Yes, import it. Let me unsubmit her works. There is some problem has happened. Let her answer again. And then submit. Okay. So most probably because I did import grade later, that happened. Okay. So let me try import grades once again. You can import as and when students, batch of students. So yes, I got it here. So now you can see she scored 1 out of 1, and I would like to return this. So I can, returning is again giving feedback. So when I go to this option and return, or I can do it bulk for all the students here. I can select all the students and return the work. So I can just return the score, which I'm doing now, or I can also add a comment. This is what we do in our classworks, right, while correction. So this is an environment that is simulating what we usually do in a more exciting way. And now I will go to her mail. Most probably she has received a mail from me. Yes, marked. It says this assignment is marked. So I open the mail and I can see her report here. I can say, yes, 1 out of 1. And if I open this, or we have to resubmit. I mean, we are uncomfortable with teacher's view and not from student's view. So yes. So this is the place that you can, this is where you can see how many have been assigned, how many have handed in, and you can return the grades. I mean, it just requires little practice for you to assign it to first class, a batch of 30, 35, 40 students, and then understand, you'll have to slowly build up on that understanding. So now I would take some questions.
Mr. Mustafa, Priyanka here. One question which I saw in the chat is that, is it possible to collate the students' scores into Excel, or is that not possible?
Collate the course into Excel. Can I have more clarification from Priyanka?
So if all the schools have, if all the students have got their scores, which you import the data and you can see it in your left panel in the tool, is there some way to get all that data in Microsoft Excel, or no, that's not possible? Can we download the data in Excel?
The performance data?
Yes, on the quiz,
Yes.
for example.
Yes. So if you go to, this is one of the interesting sections that I want you to see. If you go to class homepage, you can see marks here. So marks is a simple view. It is students versus the assignment. So you can see the data. It is loading data for this assignment. You can see the first assignment is the one that we just worked, and these students have not been assigned. There are other students who are working on different assignments that we hosted a couple of days ago, and her score is out of 1. She scored 1, and I will be able to one second. There is a feature somewhere where you can actually download the, maybe I'll have to go to the end of the, so yes, you can definitely download this data. I'm not able to see that feature now here, but you should be able to download the assessment data.
Can I?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, please continue. Yeah, no, I just wanted to, so a couple of people seem to have asked about using whiteboard to do real-time teaching. And Mr. Mustafa, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that Google Classroom as a tool is significantly focused on managing assignments and exercises for the classroom.
Yes.
Whereas it gets combined with Google Meet or Hangout for teaching. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. I mean, if you want to host a lecture, if you want to host an interaction, you'll have to use a video conferencing tool like Zoom or Google Meet, the tool that we are using right now. These are some of the most effective tools that you can use. You can share your screens. You can Zoom has more options than Google Meet. Google Meet is works out well when you are when the assisting technologies are also Google. Like for example, you're using Google Drive to share, and you are, so these are all integrated with Google products. Zoom is effective when you are hosting lectures for large number of audiences, or you're doing online conferences. So would you want me to give you a peek of Zoom or other tool? Yeah, I'm sure I just missed something while doing it. Okay, so since most of the responses are yes, you can always Google Meet is very simple. We are already doing it, so I wouldn't disturb this session. But again, you can simply have a peek. I mean, quick peek at how you can host a session. You can simply create a meeting. You can join or create a meeting and share the link. That's all is required. And there are other options that through which you can moderate the whole meeting. For example, you want audiences to be available only on audio or video. So these are the things that you can take care. Whereas Zoom, the only trade-off with the Zoom is you will have to download a Zoom client, and Zoom client works better than the client that is hosted in the browser, that is the web version. So it will prompt you and encourage you to download the client. Once you download the client, we'll be able to host sessions. It's like just creating a meeting, sharing invitation with your audience, and any number of audience can connect. Of course, you, in a free account, you have limitations. Just today in the morning, I was so glad that they extended the time of a free meeting from 40 minutes to an hour. So that was nice.
Yes, I too had that experience.
Yeah.
For Zoom, it is we've been using last 1 week. I've been using Zoom for my classrooms.
Yeah.
I connect with the grade 12 students and take classes.
Yeah.
But only thing is, and there I'm able to upload PowerPoint. Is that possible here in the Google Meet? Is it possible for me to share screen and show a PowerPoint?
Yes, very much. You can.
Okay.
Yeah. You can, if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So this pop-up comes from, I click the heading of the meeting, so the title of the meeting, and then I can see attachments here. So I can,
Okay.
whatever documents I want to attach, I can attach here and share with the audience. That's very much possible.
Okay. So the audience will get to, they will have to open it at their end?
Yeah, they will have to download it and open it.
Okay.
Depends on if you are sharing. If there is a presentation on Google Slides, they'll be able to open it right in the drive, which is great. And but if you are sharing a PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint presentation, then they will have to download it and open it in the system viewer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, like you are sharing your window with us, you shared your screen, right?
Yes.
So like that, when you share your screen and you open a PowerPoint, so I should be able to see it.
Yeah, of course. Like I can open anything here, and you should be able to see.
Yeah. Okay. So that way also we can teach. So is there a whiteboard option in Google?
I haven't seen this in Google Meet, but I have seen that in Zoom.
Zoom it is there.
Available in Zoom.
Zoom it is there, but it's not very friendly in the unpaid version, in the sense there are no colors. Option of colors are not there. So that is one thing which I found a little problematic for a typical classroom.
Yeah.
But it's there in the Office Teams. Microsoft Office Teams has
Yes.
colors.
Yes. So I mean, there is no dearth of these tools. I mean, we can just go and explore and deploy as the requirement is.
Okay.
And premium accounts always offer you quality and always provide you range of options. But again, most of the schools and educators, they have limited budgets and they prefer to use free accounts. So
True. Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Somebody has said that there is colors option in Zoom. Somebody has,
yes, if you have tried it, that's
yeah. Okay. But Zoom doesn't allow you to have assignments and all, no? Like Google Classroom does. You don't have that provision.
Zoom is a video conferencing.
It's just a video conferencing
platform. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Thank you.
I just wanted also to take just 2 minutes and show you how you can create. I mean, there's a new feature added in the Google Classroom, and it's called Rubrics. So we usually work with Rubrics because we want to have an authentic assessment instead of just depending on numbers and quantities. We would also like to assess work qualitatively. So, and also translate that quality, I mean, quantify that quality. So I would create a small assignment. And then we can have a rubric-based assessment. Okay. Yeah. Now I can create. You can see this section, rubric. This is a very new feature from Google. I'm so thankful they added this. So create a rubric, reuse a rubric, or you can import it from Sheets. If you have a set of criteria in the Google Sheets, you can import it from there as well. So you can create a rubric. You are going to use this for scoring as well. You can create your criteria. I mean, if I do it here, it would take longer time. So I would encourage you to please go ahead and explore. It's very user friendly. You can try it on 2 or 3 students and then again deploy it to. Always do a test run. I always do that. You can always pilot a small assignment with 2-3 selected students and then deploy it to the whole classroom. That always works better. So you have your criterion against, you have all your yardsticks here you want to measure, and then what kind of grading you want to apply to it, points that you want to give to each of this rubric. In a rubric-based assessment, basically you evaluate students' performances based on certain criteria, and each criteria has the performance indicator has its own description. So the whole assessment, the idea of assessment becomes more authentic when the user or when the student is aware of what criterias are going to be used to evaluate the assessment, and if the user and if the student is able to see that continuum of performance grading from, let's say, beginner to the advanced. So this creates a transparency across the assessment approach, and personally I prefer this very much.
I'm just a bit conscious of the time, since this was scheduled till 6, and we have a few people who are starting to drop off. So there are, of course, a few more questions that I still see on the chat. So I don't know if we want to continue for another 5 minutes, or how would you like to do it?
We can now take up questions that would be, or also people can share their insights from their experiences. So there is this question from Anish that says, is there a way students can interact with each other on Google Classroom? Yes, they can. They cannot directly send a message to each other, but they would be able to comment on each other's work if you allow that. And that's a great way of collecting peer feedback on the work. Before doing this, we will have to educate students and condition them to understand the value of a worthy feedback. Otherwise the comments can be meaningless, and comments can also be distracting. So it's important to educate or let students know that what a valuable comment can be, and that way the students can comment on each other's work. They can comment on a common wall also, the comment section of the task. So that's it. Also, no option for math tools. Math tools in the sense to teach mathematics, yes, you require a different platform. You need a math editor, in fact, to create equations and host. So yes, those are the limitations.
I think there are a couple of other questions which have got answered on the chat itself.
Okay.
And I also see Neha Khanna from Sunbeam School saying that they have experience with Zoom, and the whiteboard feature and screen share have been very useful. So that's a useful input.
Yeah.
Somebody, at least a couple of people, have asked about time-bound assessments and assessments scheduled at a particular time.
Yeah, you can schedule an assessment to be available on a certain time. There are options available when you create any kind of assessment task, and you can also set a due date after which the assignment it expires, and the students will not be allowed to submit that work. So those options are available right there when you are creating the assignments.
So, I'm just should we should we move towards wrapping up this particular session? So I also realized that I did not introduce Mr. Mustafa Zaidi specifically in the beginning. Let me just do that right now. He's part of Focus High School in Hyderabad, which is an IB school with a very unique aspect that they try to provide IB in an affordable manner. And Mr. Mustafa Zaidi is also a winner from CENTA Teaching Professionals Olympiad. So very glad to have you do this session for us. Before we wrap up, 2-3 quick announcements for all of you. One is if there are others here who have specific experiences that you feel you would like to share with a broader community of teachers, we as CENTA would love to enable that. So please feel free to reach out. And a related point is that we are trying to do this series on online teaching. And today's session was an introduction to a tool, along with some comparison to a couple of other tools. But we are also trying to get into many other aspects of online teaching. So, for example, certain aspects of classroom management change in online teaching, but certain aspects remain the same. So what changes, what remains the same? How does one hold the attention of students? So various aspects of online teaching we would like to try and cover in this series. And any of you who would like to offer your facilitation, please reach out to CENTA. And of course, as I said again, we've also launched the CENTA Teaching Quotient for online teaching specifically, given the current need. But thank you very much again, Mr. Mustafa Zaidi, and really appreciate your time.
You're most welcome, and thank you, everybody. I was actually looking forward to hear from all. I mean, I'm sure there are more experienced users and educators here, and I was looking forward very much to hear from all of you. And please do share your experiences because everybody has different settings and different opportunities to do assessments. I think we need a huge collective to understand what those opportunities could be. And these tools will enable us to translate those opportunities into authentic assessments. Thank you very much, and you all have a nice and lovely day.
Yeah, and by the way,
just a minute. I would just like to take a minute. Priyanka here from CENTA. I would also urge you to go to My CENTA app, and we have a discussion forum there, and you can continue your discussions, thoughts, ask queries, etc. on this topic there as well, as in continuation to this session.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and yeah, everyone who's been on the session today or any others from your schools, etc., please feel free to continue the discussion there and invite others to it.
I would personally love to hear from you all the various opportunities that assessments can offer. I mean, the variety in feedback that we can give through, I mean, students submitting their videos and audios and storyboards and their mind maps. So how they can be deployed to assess, because when we talk of assessment, we also talk of assessment as learning, for learning, and off learning. So assessments is really super exciting thing for me. So please do share ideas, and I would love to hear back from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So, Karthik, do I end this meeting from my side?
Yes, sir, you can do that.
Okay,
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ramya. Thank you, Priyanka, and thank you, Karthik. Thank you a lot.
Thanks a lot.